The night my boss's client pointed at my wife, he never saw what was coming. The night of the CEO's house party was supposed to be a celebration. After months of hard work, I had finally secured a massive deal, and being invited to my boss's mansion felt like true recognition. My wife Sarah looked stunning in her navy dress, her smile lighting up the room as we walked in. The chandeliers sparkled, glasses clinked, laughter filled the air, and for a moment, I felt proud. Proud of what I had achieved, and proud to have her by my side. As the evening went on, the CEO introduced me to some of his most important clients. Among them was Mr. Khaled, a wealthy man with an intimidating presence. He was infamous for his arrogance, but people tolerated it because of his money. The moment his eyes landed on Sarah, I felt it. His stare lingered far too long, and my chest tightened with unease. We stood in a small circle, exchanging pleasantries, when he smirked and said words that silenced the room. "She's coming with me." The laughter died instantly. His tone wasn't playful, it was a declaration. A deliberate attempt to humiliate me in front of my peers, my boss, and everyone whose opinion mattered in my career. I looked at Sarah. Her shocked expression mirrored mine. My fists clenched, but I forced myself to breathe. This wasn't the place for a fist fight. The CEO gave a nervous chuckle, brushing it off as a joke. But Khaled's smirk said otherwise. I guided Sarah away before things escalated. On the outside, I appeared calm. Inside, a storm raged. That night, I barely slept. His words echoed in my head, burning with humiliation. Respect, once lost, isn't easily restored, and I knew I couldn't let this slide. The next morning, Sarah sat beside me, still shaken. "You can't just let this go," she said quietly. She was right. But instead of reacting with rage, I chose strategy. Khaled may have been rich, but he wasn't untouchable. And I had something he didn't know. I was the architect of the very deal his business depended on. Over the next week, I gathered information. I studied the numbers, reviewed the reports, and found a flaw buried deep in the project. A flaw that only I could fix. If ignored, it would cost him millions. The opportunity came at a follow-up meeting. The CEO, board members, and clients, including Khaled, were all present. When the CEO asked for progress updates, I laid out my findings calmly and precisely. Then I revealed the flaw. The room fell silent. I turned to Khaled and said evenly, "Respect is the foundation of trust. Without it, no deal stands." His face drained of color. The CEO's frown deepened, and everyone in that room connected the dots, the insult at the party and the professional blow I had just delivered. Khaled's arrogance had consequences, and now everyone saw it. Later that evening, Khaled approached me privately. Gone was his smug smile. He muttered an apology, one that sounded more like begging than sincerity. I didn't respond. I simply walked away. When I told Sarah what happened, relief washed over her face. For her, it wasn't about revenge. It was about knowing I had stood up for her, for us. She held my hand and whispered, "That's the man I married." From that day on, Khaled avoided me. His arrogance faded. His influence shrank. Meanwhile, my own position in the company grew stronger. The CEO respected that I hadn't lashed out with violence, but had instead handled it with precision. And me? I learned something important. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It isn't about fists or shouting. It's about strategy, about stripping away the power of those who try to belittle you. That night at the party, Khaled thought his money could buy everything. But he learned the hard truth. It couldn't buy dignity, it couldn't buy respect, and it could never buy my wife. That was the night he learned his lesson, and the night I took back my pride.